Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leia and this is With Might and Main, a channel where I share things like ADHD ADHD tips and what my life is like here in Montreal as someone from the US and California. And today I am here to share with you some ADHD tips, tools that you can use to help you with your ADHD in addition to whatever other tools you're already using. So about a year ago, I made a video about my first time trying ADHD medication. It got a lot of traction, but what I got a lot of in that video is people commenting other things that they've done, either in addition to or in place of medication. And so I thought I would share some of the tools I use that are not medication in case you're looking for more or something outside of medication to help you with your ADHD. The types of tools I'm going to share today specifically are going to be phone apps that you can look into and see if that's something that's going to help you as well. I'm not going to go too much into the specific apps I use because I feel like there are many versions of the same type of app, and what version works for one person might not be the right version for another person. I'm going to go into the types of apps that you should be looking into if you're trying to manage parts of your daily life as a person with ADHD. So the first kind of app that I have used that I think a lot of us could probably really up-level our life with is some sort of alarm app outside of the one you're already using. I think it's safe to say that most of us use our phone for an alarm. I use my phone, but I use a very specific alarm app, not the one that just comes on the phone. The one that I use is called the Sleep app, which is an Android app. I am an Android user, but I know that there's a lot of alarm apps just like it on iPhone, so no stress. The alarm apps that are out there nowadays are really targeted on like getting you either moving in your bed or physically out of bed in order to turn your alarm off. There's things like you gotta take a picture of something, you gotta take a selfie smiling, you gotta write a journal entry, you gotta do a math problem. There's all different types of options. The one I use on my app, you have to scan a QR code. I've been using this method for a very long time, for a few years now, and it's extremely effective. And I think part of what makes it so effective is that on my app in particular, I don't know if other alarm apps do this, but on the one that I use in particular, I can set how many times I'm allowed to snooze my alarm. So I have it set to 15 minutes max. And once I've snoozed enough times that accumulate to 15 minutes, my alarm will not stop unless I scan that QR code. And it is a living hell some mornings. It's absolutely wretched, but it works. And we are about things that work in this house, especially if you have a newer phone where you can't remove your battery, you know? If you have trouble waking up in the morning like I do, I strongly suggest an alarm app. Just a little side note, one reason why I really like the alarm app also, or any like an alarm app in general, is because even if I do go back to sleep after getting up, scanning the QR code and my alarm going off, at that point it's now a conscious decision of whether I really need the extra sleep or not, or if I'm just like trying to delay the start of my day, which is often the case. So that's what I really love about having an alarm app, is my decision to go back to sleep is then conscious after I've gotten up. The second kind of app that I think a lot of us ADHDers could really use to up-level our daily life is a habit tracker. Before you look at me like I'm crazy or with the evil eye, just hear me out. I know habit trackers can get a bad rap for promoting like toxic productivity. Sometimes you just want to live and exist, you know what I mean? But if you're a person with ADHD, you probably struggle with basic self-care, you know? Like hygiene, laundry, dishes, paying your bills on time. And I think a habit tracker can really come in handy with that, especially if it's the type of habit tracker that rewards you, which I find most of them do. That's kind of the point in most of these habit tracker apps, is to make you feel good about doing the habit and tracking it. I've been using a habit tracker for 3 years, and in the beginning it was less about the habit itself and it was more about being conscious of adapting new habits. But it's really helped me to learn to habit stack and to like evaluate what habits are working for me and which ones I can change or adapt to work better for me. And like I feel so much better and more accomplished now, and I'm not even doing anything great. Like I'm not training for a marathon, I'm not saving to buy a house. All of the things that my habit tracker tracks are very small habits. The habit tracker I use is called the Fabulous app. I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's aesthetically pleasing. It tells me how many days in a row I've been doing something. If you're the type of ADHDer though that really appreciates like more of a gamification type lifestyle, like you love video games, you love board games, you play D&D, like you like that sort of thing, look into Habitica RPG. I've heard great things about it. Every time you track your habit successfully, you get like experience points, and then you could choose to do missions with it and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a very cool concept. It just wasn't right for me, but it may be right for you. Do I need to get closer? Let's get a little more intimate. So the next type of app that I use that I think a lot of ADHDers could improve their life with, improve their daily life with, is an eating tracker, but less about tracking what you're eating and more reminding you to actually eat. If you have ADHD, you know you just be going without meals sometimes and you don't even realize till you about to pass out and you're like, why do I feel like I'm dying? Right, I haven't eaten in a very long time. I know I'm not the only one who struggles with this. I think an eating reminder app is excellent for people like us. We tend to hyper-focus and forget to eat, or there's too many steps involved, so we delay eating because we feel like we can't focus on the action of getting food ready to eat. And sure, this is something you could probably just set in your phone with alarms, but I feel like I don't have to tell you that like that doesn't work most of the time, because you just swipe the alarm and you don't even realize it after a while. You don't even realize that the alarm is coming up, and you don't realize that you're dismissing the notification. The one I have downloaded recently is called Eatwise. It's fantastic. It notifies you overwhelmingly, but in addition to that, it'll let you know how long it's been since your last meal. And I think that's what really does it for me. Even if I have dismissed it an extreme amount of times, eventually I'm realizing like, what is this thing that keeps popping up? That's how often it alerts me. It disappears from my mind and then I realize it all over again. Like it comes back to the front of my mind. Sometimes on really bad days when I am dismissing it over and over again, after so many hours, I'll be like, it's been 8 hours since your last meal. And then something about seeing that many hours and knowing that that's the last time I ate is like, oh, I should probably eat something. And I think that's what's different about this app at least, and probably other eating apps as compared to just your phone's alarm. I think it's a helpful tool if you struggle with remembering to eat. Look into it, because okay, we are almost done here. The next type of app that I think people with ADHD could really benefit from, that I really benefited from, some kind of budgeting app, but one that isn't mind-numbingly boring, you know? Like I don't want an Excel sheet, I want something engaging. So we all know, you and I, yes, you watching the video, we both know that we at least a little bit struggle with our spending habits. Some of us are either absolutely trash with our spending habits, or we like are really good for a long time and then like trash for 1 week and then good again. I think we all could use a budgeting app for this, but like not so much that once a week you go on your computer and you type what you spent, but more like something that's actively invading your space and telling you what you've done. The one that I've used is called Clio. If you've heard of Clio, then you know, but if you haven't, Clio is a budgeting app that will basically roast you for your spending habits if they suck. If you've spent way too much on Uber Eats and Amazon Prime on things that you did not need, Clio will let you know, okay? Clio will tell you to get your act together. And I think it's great because, you know, there's like a friend, you know, when you do like an accountability buddy thing. I feel like if I had a friend telling me like, girl, you did not need to spend XYZ amount of money on Uber Eats, I would be appreciative of their candor, but I would be a little like, But because Cleo is a computer, it's an app, it's a robot essentially, it's just funny, but it's also enough to make me reflect on my actions without taking it personally because it's just a robot, you know? And it's entertaining, it's fun, and it gets me thinking about how I'm spending my money. But what's great about Cleo specifically is they also give you little quizzes every week. It's just like 4 little questions to test how much you're paying attention to your wallet. And I don't know about y'all, but when I have done those quizzes and I get like 1 or 2 out of 4, I always feel like offended at myself and inherently want to pay more attention the next week so that I can do a better job on the quiz the next week. And all of that results in me spending my money more wisely, or at least being aware of how I'm spending my money, even if it was not more wisely. So that's something I really suggest for people with ADHD. Look into a budgeting app that is more than just you have spent 10% of blah, blah. Like that sounds so boring. Oh my God, that sounds awful. But Cleo, and I'm sure there's other apps like Cleo that make it a little more interesting. It gives me the dopamine I need when it comes to looking at my money, which is a very sad thing sometimes. So yeah, that's the last app. So just to recap, the 6 apps that I think ADHDers could use to uplevel their daily life: an app for sleeping/snoozing less, an app to track your habits, an app to track your eating or to remind you to eat, an app that helps you track your budgeting in a way that's engaging and not absolutely boring. Like, these are all things we have to do on a daily basis. As ADHDers, they don't always come easily to us. We have to learn a lot of tools to make them work for us and a lot of hacks, and I think technology is an excellent aid for any of us, and those are the ones that I have found that have really helped me, and I think they can help a lot of you. So with all of that, I hope that this video has been helpful. Truly, I hope this video has been helpful because I meet so many people with ADHD who I tell these things and they're like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, girl or guy, get your life. Do it. The amount of tools I've learned. I hope that you're gonna go and download some of these apps. If you A, use some of these apps and love them, or B, are about to go get your life and download them, let me know in the comments below which ones you either like already or are hoping to enjoy. Let's have a discussion. I love talking about ADHD. I could talk about it all day. It's probably my special interest / hyper focus. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe or leave a comment or all 3. It would really make me happy. Remember to live your best life because life is too short not to. And remember that it's okay to use external tools to live your best life. You don't have to try and live without tools to live a good life. I used to believe that. That's a limiting belief. So if you believe that, stop that. It's okay to live your best life with aids. You can live your best life with all of the aids that you need, okay? And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye.